What's going on, Canes fan? Welcome to Junior the Big Dog, your favorite father and son duo covering Miami Hurricanes football and sports. How's everybody doing this Wednesday evening? What's up, big dog?
Good. Everybody with us already, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go.
Yeah, we had people in here early, man. We had Vicken. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. I'm just gonna call you Vicken. I don't want to butcher your last name, but I've never seen him here before. But he says he's a longtime Hurricanes fan. So hello to
Awesome,
you.
Vicken.
Anthony's in here. Origin Greenblood.
Cohen, it's all about the you, Cohen.
Absolutely.
And thank everybody in Canes fan from all those prayers that we sent out for on Cohen's behalf. Fortunately, Cohen is doing well and healthy, and I'm glad to hear it. And thank everybody for all their prayers. Guillermo, Captain Trips, what do you say, Captain Trips? Let me go through here.
Tony, we got Dennis, Jacob, Bergie, McLovin, Mr. HD, Baby Shaq. What's going on, guys?
All our usual suspects.
Absolutely, man.
Man,
sorry we weren't able to join you guys last week. But you know, we're here. We're here today, baby. We're here today. A lot of exciting
I know. What do you say?
Going on, man?
Greetings from Amsterdam too. We got from LBM State. Yeah, he's always from Amsterdam.
Absolutely.
Daryl.
Ian, the Junior and the Big Dog family is worldwide, baby.
Absolutely. Endo Gaines, HGS, Eddie, man, all you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Always please hit the like button because it does help us with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, hit the notifications bell and press all. And thank all of you for joining us this evening. Love having everybody here. And as you guys know, I always Bergie says, since we said that the usual suspects, his new name is Kaiser Soze. So for those of you who haven't seen that movie, I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but that's an awesome movie. That's an awesome movie. Usual Suspects. So make sure if you haven't seen it, you do see it. Sure. And we'll just say that the bad guy in it is Kaiser Soze. So
August 6th,
not going to say anything else.
Mr. HD. August 6th, Leonard Taylor will be announcing his decision over on CBS Sports. So that's going to be interesting.
I want that guy so bad, man. I know everybody's still focused a lot on James Williams, and I would like Williams too. But Leonard Taylor, that dude's the truth, man. You know, that's a guy that I think will get snaps as a true freshman at D tackle.
What up, HJS?
There's not very often you see a true freshman at D tackle get snaps. And Leonard Taylor is that dude.
Thank you, Taz, man. Appreciate that. His happy belated birthday. My birthday was
yesterday.
So, yeah, 3 decades, man. I made it to 30. So
Mr. Junior is baby. 30 years old yesterday.
This is what it is, man. Hey, look, ever since I had the twins, that's it. I stopped counting. So
that's true. Yes,
so it is what it is. Him and Mason will be illegal. Oh my, yeah. Can you imagine if we get him and Mason?
Oh my God,
that would be.
That's another dude. I don't know if you guys have a chance. Thank you so much, Endo.
What's going on, Endo?
Yeah, you say Leonard Taylor.
I'll tell you what. Well, I don't tell you that much, big dog. But me and Endo are always DMing each other back and forth.
Endo, thank you so much for the donation, partner.
And I appreciate those conversations and whatnot. So thanks for the dono, man. Appreciate that.
Everybody else also wishing you happy birthday, dude.
Yeah, I'm 32, 90 babies for life.
No, Stacey, he is committing August 6th.
Yeah,
he said that's what he's committing, but the signs look good. And I don't know if you guys saw the signs also look good for. I don't know. I mean, I never really, even though he didn't commit, I never had a question about Jabari Ishmael. If you guys don't know, Victor Ishmael, his father, is our strength and conditioning assistant, has been for years now. So I always thought we were going to get Jabari Ishmael, but apparently there was a thought, but now I guess everybody's thinking that he is leaning towards committing to Miami. And and that would be good. I really like him a lot. I do think that kid can be an excellent edge rusher.
So that'll be technically number 18 with his commitment, big dog.
That would be 18.
That would be 18, and
I had it down at 17, but I might be wrong then.
We're at 17 right now.
No, I had it down that he would be 17.
No,
but I might be wrong.
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
I'm looking.
I haven't double checked. I'm going by memory.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
So I got 3 names for you. Out of the 18, I got 3 names for you. All right. Elijah Arroyo.
Okay.
I got Elijah Arroyo. Who else was it? Deshaun Troutman.
Okay.
And Malik Curtis. And Malik Curtis kind of counts, but whatever. Those 3 players are the only 3 out of the 18 that are not from, like Schellenberger said, the state of Miami.
Yeah. No. I mean, now it's like
from the Tri-County area. Malik Curtis comes out of Fort Myers, and Troutman comes out of Orlando. So, I mean, still Florida
state of Miami.
So, Orlando's not really state of Miami.
Well, he drew it from like I-4. I think he drew it from I-4 on down, is what Schnellenberger said was our territory.
I think about the Tri-County area.
Right. You're thinking about Miami-Dade and Palm Beach. I mean, Miami, Broward,
and Palm Beach. But I think you are right. I think it was from the I-4.
He had it from I-4 corridor down.
Yeah. So you know what? Troutman counts. So I mean,
like 15 of them are from like you said, are from Dade and Broward. And I think I want to say Palm Beach, but I think almost all those guys, man, are Dade and Broward.
Right.
They're either 305 or 954.
Yeah. No, I know that they're from the 305 originally, but
right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the traction that we're gaining,
it's amazing,
and keeping kids home, and you're seeing the snowball effect of why not make the crib the crib great, man.
Guys, and here's the reality. You know? I think what these young men are seeing because of the pandemic, I think what they're seeing is that gives everybody, well, I want to stay closer to home. And then I think they're starting to realize, well, wait a second. If we're getting all these guys combined with the 2020 class,
right,
we could win a natty at Miami. We could win a natty at home. You know, so then you're seeing a lot of these guys talking to each other.
Right.
You know, we got 4 players from Miami Northwestern? Am I missing one? 4 or 5?
We got 5. We got all 5.
Yeah, there you go, from Miami Northwestern.
5 for 5, baby.
We haven't done something like that since 2008 when Randy Shannon got the all that. That was a great Miami Northwestern team. Now, obviously, some of them didn't pan out, and we had some other issues and stuff. But no, I mean, I think, man, I can tell you this much. When it comes to recruiting, I can't say a negative word about us for the last 2 years.
We got U.S. sweating. That's all I know.
Really, I can't even think, because I loved our 2018 class. 2019 class was okay.
Which I mean, you have a coaching change. You got different.
No, 2019. Well, the thing with 2019 is that's when the whole Rick to Manny happened.
Right.
Yeah, that class was all right. Now, if you throw in the transfer portal, that class was top 10.
Right.
You know, if you throw in the transfer portal,
but I think it
also killed it in the transfer portal.
Yeah, but I think it has something to do also with the fact of, I mean, you had that great, 10-3 season, and then it just kind of went kapooey after that. So I mean, like people saw, all the U.S. back, all ESPN playing, the U.S. back, So then that translated to that amazing 2018 class.
Right.
So then after that,
we were number 2 in the nation when a lot of these guys committed.
Right.
And signed.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, man, it's looking good. It's looking good. I'm liking the vibe from these kids, man. And they play each other. They talk to each other. So Taylor's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting to see. When you hear him talk about both schools, Miami pretty much one of the pitches is he could wear number 56, which is something that I guess he values, wearing number 56, and that he's gonna have the opportunity to play early because we're gonna have guys, we're gonna have seniors and whatnot, and there's going to be room to get somebody to get somebody like Leonard Taylor. And frankly, I mean, come on, man. You get somebody like Leonard Taylor's caliber, you're talking about the number 1 or number 2 defensive tackle in the entire country.
My opinion, watching tape, number 1.
Right. Well, yeah. I think some sites, you know how it is. Some sites have him number 2, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think
Leonard Taylor plays like a grown man.
Yeah, but I think he's the best tackle in the country. So, I mean, yeah, and he talks about he has a really good relationship with Stroud and whatnot, and then the whole number thing, and then he kind of says some things that are very similar to what he says about the Canes, man. So there's nothing really that you can take from what he said about UF compared to UM and be like, oh, he said that he liked UM, but no, man, he spent so much time. He went to all the camps as well in Gainesville, but Miami's been gaining traction, man. They've been getting a lot of traction. They've been showing him mad love. So August 6th, man, it's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see and to see how the dominoes fall for possibly some others. I mean, who knows? But you give me Leonard Taylor or give me death, man. I think the school right now that is sweating the most is Gainesville. All right. I think they're the ones that are kind of like, I think they're still a little haunted by the whole Avante thing. And I think that they're kind of scratching their heads like, how the hell does a team that lose to FIU, you get blown out by Louisiana Tech, you lose more games than you win, complete, show, and we're getting put in top 2s of the best players, not just at their positions, but the best players overall,
in the country.
Top players in the country.
Yeah.
We're in the conversation. James Williams, top 2. Leonard Taylor, top 2. So I mean, Mason Smith, I mean, put us in there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So not in his top 2. I think it was his top 5. But still,
I thought you had like a top 6 even. But yeah.
But whatever, man. We're in there. I mean, there's a chance. You know what I'm saying? And that's all you can hope for at the end of the day, man. Is a shot. So yeah,
to me it's. Listen, I get it that the pandemic plays a part in it, but we kept the 2020 class together through all that, and that was before coronavirus. Okay, Manny owned the transfer portal, and that was before the pandemic too. Okay, so at the end of the day, you got to say,
"What's up, Jersey?"
An awesome job by David Cooney. An awesome job by the entire staff. Stephen Field, who I think is, in my opinion, I think he's as good a recruiter as there is anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
Okay? Because to me, what Stephen Field has done in the time that he's been with Miami is, I mean, he's always been known as a great recruiter, so don't get me wrong. It wasn't like he just became that. Everybody that knows Stephen Field knew he's awesome in the living room, and he's a fantastic recruiter. But I think his standing as he's come to Miami has gone even higher. I think 247 had him as the number 1 recruiter in the ACC. I go further than that. I'd say he's as good a recruiter as there is in the country, because a lot of the other primetime recruiters, they're not recruiting for a team that just went 6 and 7.
You know who I think has played just not just as important, obviously, but was played an important factor, and we touched on it before.
Hickson,
coronavirus, man.
No. Oh yeah. No. That's played a role. That has played a role. I'm not saying it hasn't, but at the same time, we saw us over recruiting to where we were playing to.
Yeah.
Since before the pandemic. Okay, that 2020 class.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but things changed once the pandemic.
No doubt. But I'll go back to this: they don't change even with the pandemic if it wasn't for David Cooney and the staff maintaining contact with all those guys.
Oh, true.
Okay, it allowed them to build a relationship. So now what ends up happening in the middle of all of this, people are saying, Well, wait a
you
second.
called it, Gallo Negro. I remember the conversation when you called in. That's one of the points that you brought up.
Absolutely it is.
And that was before as Isaiah Walker transferred to us, I believe.
Yeah. And there's no Gallo Negro. There's no doubt that's playing a big role. I'm not taking anything away from your point.
What's going on, OG?
But the thing is,
Chuck Mobile, what's up, man?
What's up, Chuck? Everybody, all you guys. Hey, Buddy, I haven't seen Buddy in a little bit.
What's going on, Buddy? Where you been, buddy?
And Daniel too. Everybody's in here. That's awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
I still have to give them a lot of credit. I got to give the coaching staff and David Cooney a lot of credit. DVD is another one. DVD is another one that needs to be talked to. Marcus Van Dyke. You got to mention his name too because he's putting in the work. These guys, listen. At the end of the day, I think, and Gallo Negro, to your point, exactly, he says the parents. To your point, I think that's the second thing. That's the second component of what your comment was, is that it's not just that they want to stay closer to home, is that their priorities change. You know, you start realizing, now, wait a second, being close to my family, staying here at the crib, it's a different feel to these kids than going away now because of the coronavirus, because of all that's going on. And hey, it's just like anything, man. Whenever you go through stuff, what's the most common thing that happens? You hold your family closer. For those of you that are older, you remember, oh man, KC Cruz with a big donation. Thank you, KC. He says,
what's going on, KC, man?
Finally caught a live show. What's up, Junior the Big Dog? Longtime fan and a member of the Rewatch Squad. Glad to be here live with you. Guys, thanks for all the amazing content you provide. Thank you so much,
awesome, KC. Man. Thank you so much, KC. Man. Appreciate that, man.
God bless.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. For those of you that are older, you guys remember when 9/11 happened, okay? I think as a whole, our entire country really started, when it happened, started like our families got tighter. Our families wanted to be together. When you go through something like that, you start realizing, and this pandemic, in a lot of ways, has been another one of those moments, and even all the strife that's going on. Yellow with a big donation. Thank you, Yellow, with a donation also. Yellow 265. And I think these kids, Bergie, thank you so much, Bergie.
Thank you, Yellow.
He said, thank you, Bergie, for the donation. I gotta play devil's advocate for a second. You can hate me afterward. If we have a 10-game season and go 6-4, 7-3, does it? Oh no, Bergie, I don't think you're even playing devil's advocate for a second.
Yellow, what does that mean? Super sticker.
What
does that mean? No, because Yellow said super sticker. What is donation?
I don't know. It's like a like button. I think he's telling everybody to hit the like button.
No, big deal.
No, I don't know what that is.
So I'm asking him, man.
Oh, I don't either. Okay. But Bergie, I don't think you're playing devil's advocate. I think you can absolutely, what you're saying is true. If we don't have a good season, could we end up losing this class? Absolutely. Absolutely. No, you got to strike where the iron is hot, but you got to make something of it. But you're right. I think let's say we have a 10-game season. Yeah, I think anything less than 8 wins won't be looked upon favorably. And this class in particular, I mean, we've talked about on the show before, that 2020 class sort of held together. There was a couple of changes here and there and a couple of add-ons here and there, great add-ons like Avante, like Isaiah Dunson, like Keyshawn Smith. So that class got even better. But the class really stayed together.
Oh, my fault, man. I just can't see it. I can't see it on StreamYard. Whoops.
What happened?
When Yella said the super sticker, are you watching it through YouTube, Big Dog, or are you watching it?
I'm watching it through YouTube.
So did you see something different?
I just saw like the like the like button, the thumbs up.
Okay. That's why you said what you said. On StreamYard, I see the donation and it just says super sticker.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So that's why I'm kind of like, wait, what?
I got you. Yeah, I didn't. That's all I saw was the big thumbs up. Thank you, Yellow. So Bergie, I don't think you're playing devil's advocate at all. You have to maintain that momentum during the season and have the type of, now in terms of talent, man, the talent has been there. So we got to turn it, we got to see that new culture at work, and we have to see it take place on the field. So I agree with you, is we have to have a good season.
Yeah.
But I believe we're going to have a good season. And I think when we do, I think our class is still going to look drastically different than it looks right now. I think if we have the season that we can have, I think we'll be in play with some high tier guys. And then you might see a couple get processed out the other end.
It could be.
So
that's possible. What's going on, Mrs. Roberts? We got Mrs. Roberts in here. Blessing us with her presence. Thank you so much for joining us. What's going on, Lakers all day?
Telly Lockett. Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, FSU. Slim Shady Canes with a $5 donation, man. He said, "Damn,
I think we gotta beep out a word or two. But there was no bad words in there. Thank you so much.
There's no bad words in there. He kept it clean. Dan Mullen wipes before he poops.
There you go.
The man couldn't coach a case of diarrhea after dinner at Taco Bell. That's amazing. I love that. I love that, Slim Shady.
It's
good to see you, Slim.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I'm hopeful for Taylor. I'm hopeful for James Williams.
I saw Saeed pose a question earlier, man. Who does Taylor remind you of? If you had a
comparable,
somebody comparable to Taylor.
Good. That's a good question.
Yeah, I remember that, and I thought that was a good question. Saeed. Curtis is special, and
I have to do my qualifier that I always do. I always throw in a qualifier.
247 with a $10 donut.
Thank you, 247. I got Jake Garcia to you.
To the U vibes.
I'm feeling it too. I know it hasn't happened as of yet, but I'm feeling that I think Jake Garcia might end up with the Hurricanes.
We'll see, man.
Yeah. I hate to do this. My qualifier is when I find a comparable that I see this comparable in style, you always feel like it's unfair to compare him to somebody who already has a career. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's not a fair comparison because you're comparing a high school kid to somebody who's an NFL player for years.
No,
I wouldn't say Sap. No, I wouldn't say Sap. Cortez Kennedy a little bit more. I think Taylor has more athleticism than Cortez, but I think Cortez is stronger.
That's if he turns out to be that kind of player, man.
Oh my God, absolutely. And again, it's unfair. It's unfair. But what I try to do is find comparable in terms of playing style, is what I try to find. And the one that comes to mind to me isn't Cortez. It's more like, and it's not Sap either, Daniel, because Leonard's much taller, much bigger than Sap. Warren was really undersized for a D tackle. I mean, he was barely 6'1".
Speaking of Sap, we might be getting a Sap as well in this class.
Tyreek?
Yeah.
Man, I hate to say this, but I do see some comparisons to Ndamukong Suh in terms of he has tremendous 10-yard quickness for a really big guy. And Taylor's what, 6'4", 270-ish? Yeah, Cortez might have been one of the strongest players we've ever had at University of Miami. Cortez was ridiculous. The strength he had was just, it wasn't normal. It wasn't human. Right. I mean, and I'm not even talking about weight room strength. I'm talking about Cortez. Cortez just had he was just out of this world strong. I mean, when you see a guy go to the NFL and throw around 300-pound linemen like ragdolls, like Cortez did, that dude is in like a different hemisphere. Right. But Saeed, yeah, I mean, that's the thing is I see the similarities to Ndamukong Suh in terms of because of the quickness and size. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, I don't want to compare him to a guy who's been a multi-time Pro Bowl player, but that's his ceiling. I mean, Leonard Taylor's ceiling is as high as any D tackle coming out of high school that I've seen in a while. Check, where do they have him listed? I think he's about 6'4", 270. Double check that for me. Is what he looks like to me. Is 6'4", like 270. Oh, V Canes with a big donation. Thank you so much, V Kane. $35 donation. Keep doing your thing, gentlemen. Looking forward to today's show. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, V Kane. God bless.
They got him right now at 6'4", 255.
Okay, 6'4", 255. All right. That's
V Canes, man. Thank you so. I'm sorry, man. I was looking up the.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But what I'm saying is that strength.
Thank you so much, V Canes.
That strength at that size with that quickness in high school, that's what reminds me of Ndamukong Suh. Because Ndamukong Suh at times, especially at Nebraska, when he was in college, he literally looked like he didn't belong on the field. Like his strength and quickness was at a completely different level than all those guys trying to block him. And that's what Taylor reminds me of.
Man.
BK's a taller and bigger than Marcus Forston. I mean, playing style. Playing style. He reminds me more of Suh. Now, I'm not saying Suh has a nasty edge to him that I don't think necessarily Leonard Taylor does. Although he plays with a nasty edge, but he's also everything he does looks nasty because he's so much bigger and stronger than most guys that he plays against.
Yeah, no, he's big, man.
I mean, that's what if I have to find a comparable, I'd find him as the comparable.
Yeah.
People say Jerome, but Jerome was also different. Now Jerome had tremendous quickness for a dude his size, but I think Jerome might have been 6'3" at most. I think he was more like 6'2". I want to say. Look at there with
Dorian. Taylor could want to play defensive. And he wants.
Yeah, but I think he's going to be a D tackle. Yeah, I think he's going to be a D tackle. And I think, I mean, we talked about. I know that Sean does in here too. We talk about Elijah. That Elijah wants to play both, and it's all well and good, and I get that. I just think he could be a superstar 3-technique tackle.
Yeah,
and mind you, it doesn't mean he's not going to be a superstar wherever they put him because he's going to develop into that. But when I saw Elijah's film the first time, I looked at it and went, wow, a 3-technique tackle, that could be special. That could be really, really special. So, that's the thing. Anthony, I know Anthony had a question from before, and I think it was about watching film from last year. Did we play like bump and run? Were we playing man-to-man or were we playing zone? We played a combination of both, but for the most part, now I will tell you, that when you watch tape, Al Blades was much better than people realize. I think that's one of the things that stuck out when you watch tape of the season as a whole, that Al Blades played a lot better than a lot of people gave him credit for. In fact, I would say Blades was our best corner last year and not Trajan. So that's saying something. And I think he's going to start getting some credit for that. I think Blades played pretty well. So, and we did play a combination. Now, our athletes, I think, were better structured playing man. Okay, playing man, playing aggressively, especially with the type of pass rushers we have. So, I'd like to see a lot more bump and run than we saw last year. That we didn't see enough of, in my opinion.
You don't want to see Rousseau dropping back in the zone.
Yeah, dropping it back into coverage. I want to see more press coverage than we did last year. That's one thing that I did see a lot on tape that we didn't do anywhere near enough of. No. I don't mind the percentage that we played man, but I want to see more press coverage than we did. With The Rock. Anthony, I'm sure he wouldn't like The Rock's bank account. That's for sure. Although he might end up, I think he's going to be playing on Sundays, so he's gonna make a pretty decent bank account of his own.
Yeah.
I mean, it's uncommon to find a player in high school who's that big and that quick. So that's the thing. Oh, who's crying?
Oh, you hear that?
Yeah. Is that Livy or Zeke? Oh.
That's Zeke.
Zeke. Oh, Saeed is saying Roberts, Taylor, Chance, Quinn Williams. Yeah, I'll tell you what. We are getting to the point now at Miami where our two deep D line is going to be impressive. And that's the way it used to be. And I'm glad to see that's the way I think we're back to. I think our two deep D line. I mean, listen, guys, I've said this before. Our fourth defensive end is Jafari Harvey. Think about that. Our fourth best defensive end is Jafari Harvey.
Right.
He says Bergie cries that way when he runs out ice cream. There you go. V. Canes, thank you. So Al Blades allowed a completion percentage of 38.5 last season. 26th best among all DBs in the country. And V. Canes, that's exactly what people don't realize. And I realized when I watched tape. Blades played a lot better than people realize.
All right.
You know? And I think I'm going to tell you, I think you're going to, hopefully if we have a season, which I don't know, guys, I'm not feeling really good. I'm not feeling really good about us having a season. I'm hopeful, man, but
Big Dog, so then, because I'm pleading some ignorance here then.
What's that?
So then, what does that mean then? Everybody can reclassify, basically?
Well, no, you really don't reclassify. I think the only thing it would impact in terms of eligibility is I think they would give all players a redshirt year for this, like an additional redshirt if they don't play the season. But guys are still going to go like Greg Rousseau. If we don't play this season, we've seen the last down Greg Rousseau plays in Miami.
Okay, right. But so then my only question is how that's going to work when it comes to recruiting. So you're basically going to have two recruiting classes in one, all coming on,
No. What they're doing is the class of 2020, they get an additional, they get a freebie redshirt if we don't have a season.
No, I know that, though. But I'm saying the class coming in 2020.
Right. That class that's already there.
Yes, the class that's already there.
Okay.
And then add in the class of 2021.
Next year, that's a different class completely. The class of 2020.
Assuming that we don't have a season this year.
Correct. If we don't have a season there,
right.
That 2020, for example, those players that are NFL level players, this year would still count for the NFL.
If they wanted to leave.
Correct. Right. If they want to leave after the third year, this year would count.
Okay.
But it doesn't count against eligibility. So meaning if you were a senior this year, I think the NCAA will let you play next season. Right. If the season were to be canceled.
But back to my question, when it comes to scholarships.
Correct. I don't think that affects scholarships at all.
Right. So you think like you could go over the limit for scholarships then?
Same rules. You 25, and the only way you can go over is if you have somebody who's an early enrollee from the previous class. That the same rules as always.
But my only point is if you're giving everybody a free red shirt, everybody could come back.
Correct.
And then you're also going to have the 2021 kids coming in.
Correct.
So how does that affect the overall scholarships?
Total
scholarship. That's what I'm.
That's actually a good question. That's actually a good question.
Right. That's what I'm like.
I think there'll be some type of
work.
I think there'll be some type of waiver in terms of
has to be right.
The over 85. Right. Yeah, it makes sense. I hadn't thought about that end of it. Yeah, but that makes sense. There'd have to be some type of waiver system for the NCAA to grant all those players an additional year, and in that way, teams could go over the 85 scholarship number.
Yeah, that'll be crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's true. Crazy. That'll be probably the first time we ever see that ever. I mean,
but the thing is, a lot of I mean, because even during the war they played.
Right.
I think you'll see Rousseau is going to be gone. Quincy Roche is going to be gone. We might actually see De'Aaron King come back.
Well, I think De'Aaron King has something to prove, man. So I think he has to come back.
I think he might come back, but Rousseau and Roche. I don't know, man, because Roche could leave right now if he wanted to, and he chose to play. because he might feel he needs to better his stock too.
I don't think
Rousseau is gone.
I don't think so.
If we don't play football this year, Rousseau's gone.
I don't think so.
Dude, he's a top 5 pick.
Whatever.
What else are you gonna be?
Whatever.
You know that's my favorite player, dude.
Whatever,
so
man.
If anybody is rooting for Rousseau to come back, it's me. But if I was Rousseau's dad and this season's canceled,
right,
I'd say go for the draft.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what is he going to improve exactly?
All right, look at Brian Tooks. Man, where's he at? Where was that?
If there's a spring season, that's going to be the interesting thing. I've heard that bandied about because there's I don't know if you guys have been keeping track of this, but apparently what do you say, Ro? A couple of the companies that are doing really well with the vaccine they're talking about January as far as having the vaccine, and I think they've been contracted to have like 100 million doses of the vaccine.
Right.
If there is if let's say the season were to be canceled and somehow or another they say to have it in spring, what do you do with guys like Rousseau? Does he want to play in spring so close to the NFL season?
No, he wouldn't be able. He wouldn't be able to because it'll go into
no. We're talking right. It's going to be into the draft, correct?
Right. So he can't play during the season.
And that happens because baseball does that. Baseball players, they're playing for the university and they get drafted. Yeah, that happens all the time in baseball. Logan donation. Thank you, Logan. Good to see you. He said, "What's up? Love you guys. Love you back, Logan."
So then that could happen in football.
That could happen in football. It happens in baseball all the time.
Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I know what happens.
I'm saying in the college.
I know what happens in baseball. Okay. My point is that if it's college football, we're in the middle of a season.
Correct, and
Rousseau could be like, "Hey, you know what, man? I'm out. I'm about to go get drafted."
That's the thing. I mean, so if we play in the spring, if someone
so many things up in the air,
they decide to postpone for the spring, man, if you're a first round draft pick, none of those guys are gonna play. Yeah, if you have the season in the spring, none of those guys are gonna play ball. They're just not.
Hurricane Logan with a $2 donation. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for the.
But you said it. But we talked about Rousseau. Trevor Lawrence won't play. Justin Fields won't play. I mean, you got a lot of guys that are. If you have the season in the spring, they're done. They're not going to play.
Now, I got a really good question for you. I got an even better question for you. What if there's no NFL season?
Either.
Then what's going to happen?
How would that impact college?
How would that impact college? And
I don't think at all.
No. But how
I
would
think they hold their draft in April, just like everything, just like normal,
right?
And they play football next season.
Fine. So then the Dolphins are going to have the 5th pick again.
That's also a good question.
And then you trade Tua. Oh no, because you'll make a trade and then you trade Tua and then boom, you get Trevor Lawrence.
I would like that.
There are so many FUBAR.
Yeah,
everything right now is FUBAR.
That's true. Yeah, you make a good point because if you have a draft, you have to go by the same draft order, and that means that so the Dolphins would get 2 fifth picks in the draft.
I'm trading Tua to somebody and try to move up.
Yeah, but if we pick 5th, we're not getting anywhere near Trevor Lawrence again either.
No, that's what I'm saying. We got to make a trade.
Yeah, those top 2 picks, I think those are written in stone. It's Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Greg Rousseau will be the first pass rusher off the board.
Yeah, we could get him at number 5.
Oh my God!
The Dolphins. You imagine
as much as I love that kid, as much as I love that kid, if the Dolphins hire Rousseau, I might get on top of my roof and dance a jig.
That would be crazy, man. That would be crazy.
Oh my God!
Keep to
Yeah. Also, I mean, I agree. A vaccine matters. I mean, obviously, I think enough people are going to take it, where you start developing that. Where it doesn't move across society as much as it's doing now. But who knows? Who knows?
KC is asking, do you guys think Notre Dame will finally join the ACC if everyone is only playing conference games?
That's a good point. I thought about Notre Dame. When I saw everybody only playing conference games, I go, well, what happens to Notre Dame? Because Notre Dame is they're contracted to play 4 ACC games a year in football. Okay.
What's going on, Mr. Roberts? How's it going?
What do you say, George? Good to see you, sir. That's my understanding. Is that they're contracted to play 4 games a year in football. Notre Dame with the ACC. Now, what will happen with them? They'd have to schedule something and add them to. I agree, Gary Negro. I think the NFL will have a season, but and B Kings, I'm sorry, I didn't finish that point. What I meant by herd immunity is that if you have enough people to have a vaccine, it doesn't travel through society anyways, because sooner or later, the people, it runs across people that have vaccines, and then that's when the virus starts dying out anyways, which is hopefully what will happen, but we'll see. Man, I don't know, guys. The fact that they canceled non-conference games so quickly doesn't leave me a lot of confidence that the season is going to be played. I used to have a great deal of confidence, and now I don't have as much.
Me neither, man.
What's that?
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't. I was surprised to see them cancel non-conference games so quickly.
I've been pessimistic for quite some time, and it's just looking gloomier and gloomier. But I mean, it is what it is, man. George says the NBA will actually be the deciding factor. If they start, then the NFL will follow. Then college ball fans may have to sign a waiver.
The thing that concerns me more with football is the numbers of the rosters, because you realize in the NBA you got 12 players on your active roster. I think they got 15 on the roster total, but 12 active. In the NFL, you got 53 active plus a practice squad.
Thank you, Richard.
In college football, you have, there's 85 scholarships on the roster, but you could have 110 players. So the number of positives that you're going to have in football are going to be alarming to some.
Yeah.
Now, as Saeed says, the SEC will play no matter what. I would tend to believe that. I think, but if they're the only ones left, I don't think they'll just hold out and play by themselves. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know, because I just don't see people having the stomach for it. Yeah. You guys remember there's 23 players on a soccer roster, right? 6 players tested positive for Dallas, and they dropped out of the tournament.
Right.
Think about that. And we're talking grown men now. We're talking athletes that are professional athletes. Guys are getting paid to play. 6 Dallas players tested positive, and they dropped out of the MLS tournament that they're having. So what happens with a college football team instead of 6 has 16 players positive?
Yeah. No, the ACC hasn't announced that they will play conference only. The Big Ten is the only.
No. I thought the ACC did announce it. Shortly after we said that they were thinking about it, they announced it.
I don't think so, big dog.
Somebody fact check me on that, but my understanding was the ACC said they're having just.
I don't think any conference has, except for the Big Ten, has come out and said that they're playing.
I thought the ACC did.
Somebody fact check us on that then, because I don't believe.
I know 247 wrote a story that they believe that the ACC was gonna go just conference, and I thought that they actually announced it shortly thereafter. Not yet.
Also, the Pac-12 as well. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the beginning.
Pac-12, yeah.
But guys, here's the reality of it. There's one thing I can promise you. If we have a football season, I can promise you there'll be a bunch of teams that has a bunch of players that test positive.
It's going to happen, man.
If you just think about it, guys, if you have 110 males, 18 to 23 or 24, okay?
Right.
You think those guys are going to do all the social distancing and all the mask wearing and all that stuff on their own time? Really? You guys remember what you were like when you were 18?
Shoot.
I don't think you're going to see them doing the social distancing and all that stuff.
What
What's going to end up happening is, Clemson already had over 20. And then what happens when it's not just Clemson or LSU? Now it's Clemson, LSU, Alabama, Ohio State, Texas, USC, UCLA, and then you have a bunch of teams everywhere that have a bunch of players that are positive.
Ro brings up a good point. He says it's a numbers game, and college football has the most players on the rosters.
Absolutely.
So I mean, yeah,
absolutely.
The odds of
Richard Hill says Clemson at 37. Yeah. Now, what do you think is going to happen when parents hear 37?
Well, especially if all these players get tested in Florida, where you got a lot of places that are returning 100% positivity rates.
Yeah, I know. I heard some of the crazy stories, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. We're living in a crazy time, man. This is. I'll tell you. There comes a certain point in your life, especially if you read a lot. You try to. You always try to be knowledgeable, and there comes a certain point in your life when you're my age and you think, well, I've seen it all. And then 2020. What's the saying? Then 2020 said, hold my beer.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Yeah, because it's like, I've never seen any of this. I've never seen any of this.
And some places were like, 98%. It's not 9.8%. You missed the decimal. You missed the decimal there.
And there's, man, this is just.
Owen. I mean, we were all angels when we were 18.
Exactly. And that's our point is you're going to have guys, now mind you, professional athletes are a little bit different, not that much because they're still young men, but at the very least, many of them have families already. Many of them have kids already. Right. So you start looking at life a little bit differently. You start saying, man, if there's no season, I might not get this paycheck. So maybe you start adjusting your behavior to sort of to make sure you don't contract it. Now, mind you, the good news is it looks like for the most part, 99.99% of young people do really well with overcoming corona. Okay? Now, that's easy for me to say because I'm not the parent of that 0.3. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the rate of death among young people with corona has been infinitesimal. It's tiny, but that's easy to say when you're not a parent of one of them. Mm-hmm. When you're a parent, you always worry about, is my son going to be that 0.3? So you're going to get an overreaction, and you're going to have a lot of teams that are going to have. Yeah, exactly. Slim says 37 and no deaths. Listen, people that are young are doing fantastic. I think New Jersey, and New Jersey's number 2 in deaths to New York City, or to New York State, I should say. And New Jersey said that they had like one death of a teenager who had no underlying illness, just one out of all the cases that they had. So, listen, numbers wise, it's easy to say, young people do really well with it, and it's true. But you're going to get a lot of pressure from parents when they hear 25 kids or 37 kids or 19 kids test positive. There's going to be a lot of unhappy parents and a lot of phone calls.
Well, listen, man, I mean, you're already starting to see unhappy parents when it comes to opening schools outright.
Yep.
Just regular schools. We're not even just talking about universities. So,
guys, my wife's a teacher, right? And we had this discussion. My wife's a teacher. Here's the problem: I take blood pressure medication. One of the things that they've talked about in coronavirus, if you take ACE inhibitors, which is a type of blood pressure medication, the virus tends to replicate in your lungs very easily. So a lot of the deaths that you have seen, even among younger people, have been people that are either diabetic, who also take ACE inhibitors, or people with high blood pressure who take ACE inhibitors. Well, my wife's a teacher, a high school teacher. So what's the problem? If she goes to school, she brings that home, I end up catching it, She might be fine, and it kills me.
Right.
Okay. The other people that are over our house all the time are my in-laws. My mother-in-law is 77. My father-in-law is 78. Okay. My mother-in-law is amazing. She at 77, she's in amazing health. I mean, she could run circles around Junior and I put together. But my father-in-law is 78, and he's had some health issues and stuff like that. So those are the things that people have to look at is, and again, we're making a decision as a family. My wife is in really good shape. My wife runs every day and stuff like that. But what ends up, but thank you so much, Logo Donation. He said, we lead the world in testing. Florida is the second highest tested state because the reason for the virus turned out to be so high is there. It's everyone's responsibility to test kids before games and or practice, period. No, not worried. No, Logan, I'm not worried about the disease from a health standpoint with young kids.
Thank you, Logan, for the donut, man.
I am worried. Now there is another point of this, and it's athletes tend to be very, very healthy. So underlying conditions shouldn't be an issue either. Okay. But the problem is when you have all these people testing positive, I'm not worried about it from a standpoint of health wise, but PR wise. What's going to happen to all these universities in terms of PR? Remember, guys, they canceled the Final Four. Okay, when way before we had really many deaths at all. Remember, the Final Four was canceled at the end of March.
Sure.
At the end of March, we had basically nothing going on. I mean, we had cases, yeah, but and New York started having their little pockets of people dying and nursing homes and things like that, and nursing home in Washington. But they flat out canceled the Final Four. Okay, which is, I mean, millions and millions of dollars every year all over the country for the Final Four. So what's going to happen when you have that number of players testing positive on a bunch of teams?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, guys. I don't see it. Now, mind you, I'm hoping I'm wrong because I am so looking forward to the season as a Hurricane fan. I've sort of been protecting myself and not being as intensely following it as much because I don't want to drive myself crazy if we end up not having a season. But I can tell you at one point I was about 90% confident because of the place that football has in our culture, in the country. That's unlike any other sport. I mean, you can be a fan of anything. Football in America I had this argument with people that are, and I like soccer. I'm not a soccer hater at all. But when people say, well, soccer is the most popular country sport in the world, obviously it is. But my argument was there is no sport anywhere in the world that is bigger in one country than football is here. Period. And if you want to have that argument with me, I'll have it with you. I'll say one thing to you. Okay? Ohio State has 103,000 people going to football games that are college football games, meaning basically minor league football games compared to the NFL.
Right.
Name me one country in the world that has 100,000 people going to minor league games, to games that are not top level.
Right.
There isn't one. There isn't one. You're lucky you get, for the university teams in Argentina.
That's 100. Those are just the people inside the stadium.
No, exactly. 300,000 watching it in the parking lot.
Right.
Same thing with Tennessee, LSU. I mean, you name it, all over the country.
We got high school football.
There is no sport in the world that is as big as football is in America. Okay. Now, that being said, at one point, I thought that meant we were going to have a season for sure.
Yeah.
Now I'm not so sure.
But this is what it boils down to as well. Austin Keynes. I don't think people are worried about the young, healthy athletes as much as they're worried about the athletes' families who could be affected.
True. Austin, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely
that's
true.
a good point.
Casey, thank you so much, Slim, for the donation.
I'm gonna get you right now, Slim. Casey says, I feel like the only way to keep players from catching COVID is once the season starts, have every team quarantine every player and coach from everyone else the entire season.
Did I read? I read Logan's comment. Logan, did I read Logan's comment with his donation? Thank you, Logan.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, I want to make sure
he didn't don't know again, right? Yeah, you did. Slim Shady Canes, man, says what they are doing here is students are going to school and teachers that can't come in.
Or Skype. That's a good idea.
Thank you for the dono, Slim.
Thank you, Slim, for the donation. That's what we were hoping. I spoke at the school board last Thursday, and I was hoping that they would do that option here. The problem is in a lot of places is the fourth quarter of the school year last year when everybody went remote. The results were disastrous. I mean, like 25% of kids didn't even sign in at any point during those last months of school. Like 50% didn't turn in assignments. It was a disaster all over the country. So what they decided to do, or at least they were talking about doing here, is the students that need to go remotely will do so with an outside company, an outside vendor. Well, the problem is then you put our teachers in a position where either they teach in the classroom or they don't teach. If you go with an outside vendor who has experience doing remote learning, right. And a lot of districts have decided that. Well, if you decide that, you're basically telling your teachers either teach in class or don't teach at all.
Right.
And then what are you going to do with those teachers' jobs? You're going to fill them?
Right.
So that's the problem is everything is a good idea until you get lost in the weeds. Yeah. No, VK's, the point I'm saying about soccer in Brazil is this. Same thing. Brazil draws those type of crowds for the national team or their top Brazilian league. But the second division in Brazil doesn't draw 100,000 anywhere near that. And we have 25,000 sometimes at high school games.
Yeah.
Seriously. You guys remember some of the big high school games, even back in my day, they were crazy. I mean, football just has a place in this country, but I'm not feeling, at one point I was 90% sure we were going to have a season in football. Now I'm 50-50. At best, I'm 50-50 because I don't think the schools will have the stomach to say, yeah, we have all these positives, but they're young athletes and the death rate is really, really low. We just have to deal with it. I don't think that's what's going to happen. And God forbid, and obviously I hope it doesn't happen for many, many reasons, and the most of which is no one wants to see that. But what happens if you do have one player that doesn't make it, that has a bad reaction with the COVID, and you think the rest of the schools are going to go, well, it's a law of numbers. No, that's not what's going to happen because PR isn't going to allow it to happen that way.
Yeah.
Logan, thank you so much. Logan again says no reason could possibly benefit us if we retain our seniors and we redshirt them, but I want to see us. I want to see us, of course. Yep, Logan. But we're going to lose some. I mean, we'll lose Rousseau. I'm almost positive we'll lose Rousseau if we don't play this year. Even if we play this year, this is his last season. I mean, does Quincy Roche come back? Does De'Aaron King come back?
And not just that, but then what does that do to recruiting for 2020 for 2021 if you don't have a season?
Well, I don't think it negatively impacts us at all.
Of course, it does.
Because everybody won't have a season.
Of course, it negative impacts us.
How do you figure?
Because you got kids waiting, saying that they want to see Miami win,
right,
before they come in.
I got you. Okay, I got you.
So I think 100% it'll negatively.
Right. If our last season would have been 10-3, it doesn't negatively impact us. But since the last season we played wasn't 10-3, it could. I see your point. Yeah, that makes sense.
You're gonna have kids that are not gonna want to make that gamble.
Right.
They want to see it first.
Jorge Masvidal stepped. Yeah, you know what? We both watched the fight.
This is my thing. I understand a lot of people are hating on the fight, and they're calling, such and such soft or whatnot. But
they're calling Usman soft.
But that's the way.
That's his style, though.
That's his style, man. Like I understand that's not the fight that you guys wanted to see.
Listen,
and you guys don't want to see Masvidal getting his toes stomped on
Yeah,
and whatnot. But
I
hey, what do you think? You think Usman was gonna stand there and
trade with him, right? He wasn't going to trade
and
with Gamebred
and just fade fade with Masvidal?
yeah.
Come on, man.
And you can tell the couple of times that he did, he was really, really uncomfortable. He was like, no, the first chance I get, I'm pushing you up against that fence.
Hey, man.
Listen, I feel your pain, guys, because I'm a huge Masvidal fan. Okay. But at the same time,
but you know how it is. He talked like he could whoop Masvidal because these fighters talk, and that's all they do is talk.
Yeah,
that's part of that whole yapping to sell more buys.
And I'm glad he actually said something at the post press conference. Yeah. Masvidal said that what him and Usman talked about was that their next fight, they're not going to do any of that trash talking. And because he said he wants to tell young kids that you don't have to sell fights that way.
Listen, man, I love
trash talking.
I love Masvidal, and Big Dog loves Masvidal even more than I do. And I'm starting now to finally really get into UFC. But based on what I saw, man, that's the fight that Usman is going to fight on the rematch anyway. And Masvidal is not fight.
The only thing I did see that Masvidal said that would be different is, and he didn't want to give it to his credit, he said no excuses. So he gave credit to Usman. He said no excuses. He said his gas tank, that if for the next fight that he fights Usman, he's going to make sure he has a gas tank that can go all 5 rounds of getting away from him and fighting. Getting away from being pushed up against the fence. Right. That he didn't want to use it as an excuse, but the 6 days he didn't get his gas tank built up, so he could only fight in spurts. So when he pushed up against the fence, he'd take a break. Masvidal took a break, and then when he was able to get away, and then he started fighting in spurts. And it's one of the reasons why he saw that he threw hands in a different way he normally does, with a lot of urgency in this last fight.
Yeah, he did.
And it was because he felt he only had little windows where he could run like sprints.
Yeah.
He couldn't go a marathon.
Right.
So, and that's one thing that's true. I do think that impacted the fight. But listen, that's the way. Now, Usman doesn't always fight like that, but he fights like that with guys that can make him go bye-bye.
Knock him out.
Yeah. So, because even with Woodley, and Woodley's a hell of a wrestler. He wanted to stay close to Woodley, and stuff like that. And listen, at the end of the day, you fight within the rules. And if you fight within the rules, like Usman did, the guy's 17-1, guys, in MMA. That's, you got to respect that. Even if you don't respect the way he fights all the time, you got to respect that.
It's part of the sport, man. And it is what it is. George, he says that he has mixed emotions on the kids who say they want to see the U win. Most of them haven't led their high school to a championship.
That's true.
They want to see the U win, come in and help them get back to dominate. Can I frame that,
George? I love that, George. That's perfectly said. That's perfectly said. And you know what I always tell people? People say that they want to see us win first. And I said, how about those Hurricanes that came in 83? Those Hurricanes that came in 83 had never seen the Hurricanes win.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got 5 championship rings, played for 5 other. We're a historic team in the NFL, all these things. Okay, at least we have that history. Those players that came in the early 80s had no history like that. And they still came and made the crib great and put together some of the greatest college teams in history. So absolutely. I agree. But that's the thing. Now, I did see Logan. Oh, sorry. Let me move up here.
Oh, damn, I did see a donut from Logan.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed it.
Yeah, I think he said who will win in a fight.
Thank you, Logan, for the
Perryman or Shaq. I'll probably take Perryman.
Yeah, I'd take Perryman too. Shaq he just seems like a really good-natured guy. I don't think he has that mean streak that Perryman had a little bit.
Yeah.
So. He cut 22 pounds in 6 days. But at the same time, and Guy Negro, one thing that I do like about Gamebred is he's not an excuse maker. He signed on that contract and he believed he could beat him. So he's not going to make excuses afterwards and say, I was only on 6 days and stuff like that. So, but he's going to run. And when they run it back, I think he can take Marty. I do. I know he doesn't like being called Marty, but for some reason or other, it's what comes to my mind every time I think of Usman is calling him Marty the way Askren did.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, listen, you gotta, even if it's not my style of fighting, but he fights within the rules, and he's 17-1, and he holds victories against Tyron Woodley, who was a great fighter. Okay, one of the best welterweights of all time. You got to give it up. You got to give it up for him. So you got to at least admire for the fact that within the rules, he's a champion. Chug Mobile with a big donation. Thank you so much, Chug. She said, go ahead. You want to read the comment?
Yeah, he says, great show, guys. Hope we have a season. But if we don't, I don't think there will be. If we do, he doesn't think there will be fans. Too much of a risk for everyone. Great content. In the big dog, hit the like button. Go Canes. Thank you so much.
I agree. I don't see us coming back with fans for sure. That part I don't see. Even partially full.
Right.
I don't see that happening. But listen, I hope I'm wrong, and we do end up playing. I just wonder what's going to happen when you have widespread positive tests on a bunch of teams. Now, the good news is that hopefully, even if we do, all of them are fine, because the young people seem to do great with this illness. So, but then what happens is when they go home and they take it to their moms or they take it to their grandparents, then now you're looking at a different issue again. So
wait, it had 1.3 million buys.
They did 1.3 million.
Are you serious, Bergie?
Oh, that's awesome, man. Because they were talking before, even though it was a great card, it had 3 championships. They said that without Masvidal, they were looking at 300,000 to 400,000. If Masvidal made that big of a difference, he better have gotten paid. And I know he got points on the back end. But you always get some points on the back end when you're in championship fights. Yeah. But I heard that they bumped up the percentage. Wow, 1.3 million buys.
Yeah, Roll says
that's a
second only to
Connor.
McGregor.
Yeah, Habib and Connor. That's nice. It. Wow, that shows you how big of a star Gamebred is. Because Marty, with all due respect, I respect him as a fighter. I do. I respect Usman as a fighter.
I don't like him.
I don't either, but I respect him as a fighter. Hey, listen, the guy was a multiple-time NCAA champion. As a wrestler,
No, cool. You can have all those accolades. I just don't like him.
And I don't either. I'm not a fan either. And I'm not a fan of that fighting. I'm not a fan of that fighting. And by the way.
What do you think of? I think you'll like this. I
agree, Slim.
Yeah.
I agree. As pound for pound, there's an argument. Yeah. Heavyweight, there is no argument. It's Fedor Emelianenko, and everybody's fighting for second place.
Fedor was.
Yeah, Fedor is he's and I hate to see him still fighting because he shouldn't be. But who knows if he's doing it for a monetary reason or not. I hate to see him fighting. But he's definitely the greatest heavyweight. Pound for pound, man, that's hard. That's hard in MMA. You got to put John Jones up there. You got to put GSP up there. You got to put Habib up there. I mean, you got to put Habib up there. Now, Habib, even though he's the greatest grappler ever that we've ever seen, but he grabs and smashes. I mean, Usman wasn't doing much any smashing. I think the only marks that Gamebred had was from the 2 headbutts.
Yep.
George did say he had a little cut right here. That might have been. He said it might have been an elbow or a punch. But the big mark that he had was from a headbutt. Yeah, I mean it wasn't like he was doing any damage really. And by the way, a couple of times, I don't know about you guys, a couple of times I thought the ref should have told them either do work or broken them up, because you see that they'll even do that when somebody's on top of somebody.
He was doing work. He was
stomping his toes.
Stomping his toes.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw. Anyways, yeah. Gallo Negro, he has to admit that Gamebred. Listen, 1.3 million buys is ridiculous, and it's by far the best that they've done outside of Conor and Habib.
Yeah. Brigo B says because we haven't talked about Cameron Kitchens, man. So he's officially a
Big.
Hurricane. What do you think, big dog?
Happy. Very, very happy.
Yeah,
I think that young man has a huge upside. You guys remember I was talking about Kitchens before when he still was a 3-star. And now he's like ranked top 20 safeties in the country. I think they have him 20th. I think he's much higher than that, though. Like him a lot. I think he fits in with Miami type of defense perfectly. I think that's a big ad for us as Kitchens. A much bigger get than I think people are realizing. And now, obviously, we got the corner on that Miami Northwestern class that's coming out. So I'm thrilled with it. I'm thrilled with Kitchens. I had a good feeling about Kitchens.
Take it easy, Gallo Negro, man. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. I think you guys saw that we were high on Kitchens and we felt we were going to get him.
Yeah.
We'll see. Oh no, Taz, there's no doubt, man. Him and Avante, dude, we are stacked. We are stacked in that secondary.
And listen, not just the fact that he committed, man, but like I said, what feels like it's becoming a trend is making the crib great, the crib great. And he said
put George's comment up there.
And he said it when he committed. He said, if I'm gonna try to make some other place great, why not stay home and do it for the crib? He says, George says, I saw 2 kids, one committed and the other one is being recruited by the U. The thing they're focused on is getting their Instagram followers up in numbers. As a fan, that worries me. Really bites hard. Yep. A lot of them are doing it, man. A lot of them are doing it. I saw Leonard Taylor, as a matter of fact, I think tweeted something to that effect. I think Kitchens did as well, but it was for Twitter followers. But a lot of kids are doing that, man. A lot of kids.
It's a different world, man. It's a different world.
I mean, George. It's a different, I guess a different generation, a different.
No, but what he says is true. And it worries me too.
No, I get
at the end of the day,
a lot
that's a focus that you should not be on.
It is.
You're focused on something that's completely false.
It is.
Okay, it's completely false.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know? People ask me like, why I don't really, other than putting our shows out there or like praying for somebody, I don't get into it on Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's become a bastion of bad opinions. Seriously.
Yeah.
If you go on Twitter right now, if you guys want to do the test. Pick any subject that you want and have a very smart, reasonable, and nuanced comment. And you'll get some comments back, but hardly none. Now, say something stupid and asinine, and out there. That comment will get tweeted and retweeted and commented on more than the smart, nuanced one. Any site that benefits outrageousness instead of intelligence, that's a site that you shouldn't be focused on. And that's what these sites have become.
Yeah, Bergie, that's always been an argument. Thank you for the donation. That's always been an argument that me and the Big Dog have defended. Getting in there early, and building a rapport with these kids. Listen, I think Avante Williams is a perfect example, man. That was a relationship that was, and
his relationship with a frame Banda was the reason why we got Avante Williams.
100%, man.
He said it above everything else. When they asked him, they said Banda. Banda was the reason why.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's huge. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Read this comment. I'm sorry, Drew. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead and read Bergie's comment.
No, he just said.
He
said Cam was quoted as saying, NIL was a big part of his signing. That's gonna get a lot of kids. Get the NIL 2 years before others. That's big.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, and Bergie is having that relationship with him. Don Chaney's another one. Why do you think Chaney didn't? Chaney could have gone anywhere he wanted. You know that. There's a bunch of teams that had a 4-star that they would have dropped in a blink of an eye if for Chaney.
Yeah.
Okay, but why didn't he go anywhere? He had a good relationship. Young man comes from a great family, great relationship. Well, Mr. Roberts, that's on here with Elijah.
Yeah.
He had a ton of options. There's reasons why, guys, when you see those relationships are built and there's trust between the parents, the young man, and the organization and the coaches, it becomes different than just a transaction of what's best for him. It becomes what's best for them as a family. And those types of relationships, that's what makes recruiting enjoyable to I think these coaches, because what they're doing is developing young men as something that's part of their lives. I mean, listen, a lot of guys criticized it, okay, but tell me if this is not true. Manny and Shaq, they're going to be close the rest of their lives. Mm-hmm. We all know that. Mm-hmm. That's true. Manny and Shaq, you could just see the love that they have for each other.
Yeah.
The whole time. Okay. So those type of relationships mean a lot to these young men. And when you build up the relationship for 3, 4, 5 years, that works in the long run. And Avante mentioned it with Banda. I think Avante had been talking with Banda since the summer after his 9th grade year.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So by the time his national letter of intent came along, man, that dude's almost like an uncle to me.
Yeah. Slim Shady with another $5 donation. Thank you so much, Slim. He says every new MMA fan needs to go back and watch 2 fights: Kazuki Sakuraba versus Carlos Newton and Royce Gracie. I don't think I've seen the Sakuraba and Newton, but I've seen. I saw Sakuraba and Newton.
Yeah, Sakuraba was one of those guys that people don't hardly talk about anymore, and he was huge for MMA. Yeah, Slim, you guys remember, I'm going to tell myself, but you guys remember that that was a big thing when people had like the card and this and that. But anyways, I watched UFC 1, and that's the one with Royce Gracie. And I've been an MMA fan, Junior can tell you, going back to 1993. Yeah. And but back then nobody was like an MMA fan. So you talk to people about MMA and they look at you weird. Yeah. But yeah, if you
back then boxing was good.
Was still king. Yeah, was still king. But one of the guys that I loved who's was Boss Rutan. To me, Boss Rutan was another guy that I don't think MMA would be where it is now if it wasn't for him. Yeah. And you could go back to like Mark Coleman and Dan Severn and obviously the entire Gracie family.
Dan Severn, wow.
Yeah, I'm going way back in the day.
I'm remembering these names because of the UFC video game.
Yeah.
Not because I actually saw the fights. Their fight. I saw a couple other fights, but
Tank Abbott, because it used to be. I mean, it was like what was cool back then. I guess was seeing the street fighter against the karate guy, and then the kickboxer against the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and all these different styles. But nowadays, guys, it's gotten, and Guapo, that's right, that's Boss Rutan. It's gotten crazy. It's crazy. Guys, these MMA guys are ridiculous now. Okay? Literally, I'm serious. I mean, they're some of the greatest athletes in the world. Nowadays, you see it's a guy, he was a 2-time NCAA champion wrestler. He was 6-0 as a boxer, and he has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then the other guy was a champion kickboxer, and he also practices BJJ, and he's also won the World Grappling Championship. I mean, these guys have like it's like, the way I put it this way, these MMA guys now, it's like they're great basketball, football, and baseball players, and they found a way to incorporate all 3 sports into one and throw in hockey there, put it on ice. Seriously. Because these guys nowadays are good standing. Because I remember it used to be like, for example, you had a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy going against a striker, a kickboxer, right? So what would happen was, if the fight went to the ground, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy would win. Or if the fight stayed on their feet, the kickboxer would win. Now it's not like that anymore. Now it's the guy who like Habib. I'll give you a perfect example. Conor is one of the best strikers that we've ever had, right? Habib is the best grappler we ever had. I think everybody was shocked who scored the first knockdown in that fight. Habib with a right hit with overhand right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that used to not happen in old MMA. It was, you know what I'm saying? That even a guy
everybody had their specialty.
Right. And
Right.
nowadays, these guys are good everywhere. Exactly, Taz. It's like everybody was Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, it's like they have everything. They got everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. I guess Tank. Yeah, but Tank kept on fighting. He was another one of those guys that kept on fighting way too long. And Kimbo the poor. Apparently, there was some heart condition there we didn't know about because Kimbo would made him. I mean, first off, he started MMA rather late, and then he had no conditioning. Kimbo could not go very long at all. And you remember that famous fight he had with the Boston police officer. You know, the guy ended up winning and beating Kimbo, but Kimbo was his gas tank was empty. His heart kept going.
Yeah, he was done though. Like,
yeah, but he was physically just wore out.
Yeah.
And you saw that in some of his MMA fights, which was sad to see. That after one round he was spent.
But if he caught you in that
if he caught you with them hands, they would hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
But rest in peace, because he was a really good guy who ended up being misunderstood a lot and left too early. Everybody that knows Kimbo, you hear them say the same thing in the MMA world. They all loved him. They all loved him, and they said he was the coolest guy ever.
Yeah. Can we give Coach Strauss some love? He is recruiting.
Oh, Stacy saying Jabari Ismail is going to commit today. Yeah, I'm 99% sure, Stacy, that's going to be to Miami if he does commit today.
No, yeah, well, Strauss.
I'm 99% sure, anyways.
He already put out the bat signal.
Oh, he put out the bat signal. Yeah, we're good. Jabari probably committed already.
He's a Kane, ladies and gentlemen. It's
listen to George Roberts put up there.
Yeah, Coach Strauss is amazing, 100%, man.
Yeah,
we got to give props where
listen. If you guys don't remember, what did Coach Stroud do? He once coached 3 defensive linemen that all went in the first round. Think about that. At NC State, Coach Stroud had 3 because they had Mario Williams, Manny Lawson, and I always end up forgetting the third at NC State, the third one that went in the first round.
Yeah, but I know there's no official quote unquote word yet, but when that signal comes out,
right.
It was because they know it's
it's a matter of crossing the T's and dotting the I's.
That's it. So
yeah, in the same draft. That's right. Three defensive line first round draft picks from one school in the same draft, and it was Coach Stroud. So you got to give him. Yeah, he's a huge plus for us. And look what he's done with recruiting has been tremendous. Listen, the Quincy Roche get. Quincy could have gone anywhere.
Yeah,
the guy had 13 sacks last year.
Right.
Who doesn't want a pass rusher of his caliber?
Part of me, I understand it's about the kids, and but man, I really want to see what Roche and Rousseau are going to look like opposite of each other, and not just that, but
I want to see a NASCAR package. Right, I want to see a NASCAR package with those 3 guys in at the same time.
Right.
With Rousseau, Jalen Phillips, and Quincy Roche.
Right.
I'm dying to see that. Dying to see it. Yeah, I did see that, Bergie, that they said UNC is making a push for Andre Borregales.
I don't know if they're making a hard push. They offered him, but
yeah, I'm not concerned.
But they offered him now.
Right.
Like now is when they offered him.
Well, and his brother's kicking for us this season if we have a season, hopefully. So I'm not too concerned.
We offered, Borregales. And he's been committed to us for a while, and right now is when he finally got an offer from UNC. So we'll see, man. And it's wide open because his brother is a grad transfer. So I mean, yeah, our kicker for 2021 is gonna be his other brother. So,
right, his little brother. So yeah, I feel good with Andre. I'm not too worried. And I know people also said that I mean some teams are making runs for Lawrence Seymour. Guys, they're gonna do that especially when you have these as talented of the players that we have committed. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have schools making runs at them. That's gonna happen throughout. I've heard trying to remember, was it Penn State? I think it was Penn State that was really going at Seymour hard. And by the way, there's no pun intended on that. That's one of those Freudian slips there.
Terrible,
I know. At least I make myself laugh still at my old age. But no, I'm not too concerned, guys. I'm not too concerned. One of the things. No, I get you, Berg. And I know you're. It's not that you're saying it's going to happen either, but I have seen that. I have seen that, and I have heard that these and that's good. Listen, do you think, for example, if we get Lawrence Taylor, talk about Freudian slip, Leonard Taylor, there's only one LT to me, and no, all respect to LaDainian Tomlinson too, but when I see LT, I still think of Lawrence Taylor. But Leonard Taylor.
Well, I feel that's what everybody thinks about when you first hear LT.
Yeah. Slim with a donation again. Thank you, Slim. He said Roche, Rousseau, and Phillips better be in on every third down together. Absolutely, Slim. I want to see that. I want to see that so bad. I mean, you talk about that's a NASCAR package. That's an NFL NASCAR package.
Damn it. I'm not getting any more comments.
Oh, I'm not either.
There
Thank you, Slim, for the donation. Did you fix it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
All right, so let's do some quick little rapid fire, so we can go ahead and bounce out of here in a few minutes, man. If we get Taylor, that would be really nice. We really need a top flight defensive tackle.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Could you imagine if we get Taylor and Mason Smith? I'm not. I mean,
that's
knock on wood.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Between the big dog.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Who do you think the next two wide receiver commits will be?
Ooh, I am excited. I'm excited about one that I don't know if he'll be next, but I think we have a really good shot on him. Oh, Dontavius with a donation. Thank you, Dontavius. You didn't go read his comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dontavius Thomas with a $10 donation, man. Thank you so much. He says, "Great show as always. I'm late, so I don't know if y'all covered this already, but what do y'all think about the schedule this year? I think it's favorable, and the only losses I see are to Clemson. If covered, no, we haven't talked about the schedule actually. We talked about a little bit about if it's only ACC conference schedule on how that's going to be." Whether we're going to play Notre Dame or whether they're going to substitute Clemson. So we might have to play Clemson twice. So that would definitely be something. But
Dontavius, thank you for the donation. God bless, man.
But Dontavius, man, listen, it's like deja vu because I feel like most seasons I'm kind of looking.
The schedule's favorable for us.
The schedule's always favorable for us, but assuming we get the De'Aaron King from 2018, okay, a much improved offensive line, Red Lashley scheme, okay, another year under Manny. Obviously there's going to be some lapses maybe because our linebackers are not as experienced, right. Even though McLeod is going to be there, but you make that up with more speed and athleticism. So our secondary being more experienced, Bubba Bolden coming back, so I think it's set up in a way that there isn't anybody that scares me necessarily, right, if everything aligns the way it's supposed to. If what we expect to see from a Red Lashley offense, we see improved offensive line play and Red Lashley's offense taking pressure off of the offensive line. That's another thing. So the play calling and De'Aaron King, man. Listen, we get 2018 De'Aaron King. My goodness, he is going to make things so much easier for this team.
The 2018 De'Aaron King is a Heisman finalist.
Right. So
that's the reality of it.
Given all that, but I say that to say this. Like, we've had expectations in the past and it hasn't worked out. I do believe things are a little different because it just feels like Lashley's offense is what we've been needing here at the University of Miami for quite some time. And our defense has been holding it down. Our offense hasn't. We've been having these struggles on offense for quite some time. So if we could shore up the offense, listen, man, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Let's just be real, because we're going to have one of the best defenses in the country. So, I mean, if we just get everything in order on the opposite side of the football, we're going to be goody, baby.
Is there is not a team on our schedule that we won't go in feeling that we're going to win. We're going to feel that we're going to win on every single team on our schedule.
Yeah.
Now, what we want to see is for that to actually take place, which is to your point. But in terms of, I feel like we're going to have a big year. I do. And if you put me on a lie detector test, I'm sorry. If you put me on a lie detector test right now and you ask me, what do you really believe the Hurricanes are going to do this year? The answer would be 0 loss, 1 loss, like that. You put me on a lie detector test, I would say not more than 1 loss.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Now, am I going to base my credibility on that? No, because they haven't proven it to the extent that I want to see as of yet. But the reality is, that's what I believe that we're at.
Yeah. And
by the way, I'm challenged to find that 1 loss.
Clemson.
Okay. No. If we play Clemson, that would be different then. But I'm saying is outside of Clemson.
No, but somebody just said it. If we have to play Clemson twice, it does work in our favor when it comes to the ACC championship.
Absolutely.
Does it not?
Yeah, it does. It does.
So, hey,
because we're going to learn about them a lot more than they learn about us.
Bring them on, man. Hey, look, bring them on, man.
Oh, no, Slim, you're right. I know. And Slim, I think we all felt that way last year.
That's what I was trying to say, Slim.
You're 100% Slim. But what I'm saying is, if you hook now, without the lie detector machine, I'm going to tell you the politician answer of, yes, we have the most talented team, but we want to see it first. And, we were disappointed, this and that. Okay. But if you hook me up where I have to tell the truth, I have a hard time finding that 1 loss outside of us having to play Clemson. Yeah. Okay. So, and again, they have, obviously, the impact of Trevor Lawrence and all these things. Okay. But for me to sit there and say, there's not a game that I'm going to go into not believing that we're going to win in terms of talent. So, but you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to show it on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is an MMA show going on right now, Bergie. And they have one today, and I think there's another one on Saturday again. They're doing all those in Abu Dhabi, like one after another over there, because what happened was, for you guys didn't know, what happened was UFC's, all their international fighters weren't allowed to come in to the United States. So they couldn't do shows with them in the United States. So they set up Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. So all the foreign fighters, the foreign-based fighters, can go into Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. So
that was the plan from the UFC. And credit to Dana White, because he pulled it off.
Hey, last question, man, because I'm hearing my
roll.
Yeah, I got to roll. You're too deep in the secondary, big dog.
Good question. Okay, I'll go starting safeties, Gervin Hall and Bubba Bolden, with Amari getting a ton of time, and I think Keontra's going to get a ton of time, but as the backup to the striker position with Gilbert Firestone. I think Gilbert Firestone will be the starter at the striker, with Keontra being his backup. So I think you'll see those 3 safeties getting a lion's share of the snaps. Not that you won't see Avante. You probably see him on the field some, but you're going to see the starters being Gervin and Bubba, with Amari getting a ton of snaps behind them, and Keontra being the backup to Firestone at striker. Corners, I think you're going to see, do I think Christian Williams is going to push for starting time? I think Williams is going to give Ivy a run for his money. I think Blades is definitely one of the starting corners. The other one, flip a coin as of right now for Christian Williams and DJ Ivy. Probably leaning towards Ivy because of the experience. And then Christian Williams will be the backup. To Corey, if we go to real nickel, not the 4-2-5. I'm not talking about the 4-2-5 with a striker. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about a real nickel, where you go 4-2-5, but that fifth guy isn't a striker, but an actual nickel. corner, I think it'll be Takori. No doubt, I think Takori Couch will be the starter at the nickel. I think we'll see some of these young guys, Jalen Harrell, Isaiah Dunson. We talked about Avanti at safety. I think Marcus Clark is going to need a full season of red shirt before he gets on the field at corner. Marcus had the disadvantage of being such a great athlete that they played him in high school. Everywhere. They played him everywhere.
Yeah.
So he never got to learn corner, which we've dealt with before. We've seen players, that exact thing happen where they were such good athletes that they didn't play in one spot long enough to really learn the technical aspects of the position.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you there. And I do agree. I think Christian Williams is gonna lobby for that.
Yeah.
For that spot opposite of Blades, and I actually have him beating out Ivy.
You got him beating out Ivy? Okay.
I got him beating out Ivy.
Yeah,
but I won't be surprised if he doesn't, because like you said, Ivy, has the experience, and but I've been excited, man. Ever since we got Williams, I've really been excited about that young man. And
hold on. Refresh my memory.
Took him from
what state is Mr. Williams from?
Absolutely, man. We took him from none other than Mr. Saban
from Alabama.
Yeah,
where they told Mr. Rumpf, don't even bother coming around here.
Yeah,
in his Miami shirt, and he ended up with Mr. Williams at the U.
Okay, my kids are really going crazy now.
Okay,
before we go ahead and sign off, man, George Roberts says we finally got a true QB leader at the most important spot on the team, man. We'll definitely 100%. Give Clemson, who can't deal with that spread up tempo offense, man. Absolutely, man. Listen. I think having De'Aaron King in Red Lashley's offense, man, is what's going to have the biggest factor, man. So for sure, Gallo Negro, man, we'll go ahead and do a call-in show next week. 100%, man.
Thank you, Gallo, again for the donation too. God bless, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for the donation, man. Listen, man, anybody that for all of you that joined us tonight, man, thank you so much. If you're watching us on Facebook, check us out on YouTube. You're watching us on YouTube, check out our Facebook page. Give our page a like. We're trying to grow our Facebook page, whatever. Hit the like button if you haven't already. If you're part of the Rewatch Squad, hit that like button as well if you can, man. If you guys have any questions for us or comments, whatever, leave them in the comment section. Me and the Big Dog always do our best to go ahead and get to all your questions and comments, conversations, whatever it is, man. We love interacting with you guys. That's why we love doing our live show so much. Every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. This is where it's at. We also do player breakdowns. We cover recruiting. I mean, everything. Post game, we do it all, man. So if you guys enjoy the content, please subscribe, hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime me and the Big Dog do upload a video, man. For everybody that contributed tonight financially to the channel, man, thank you so much. And even those of you that didn't, man, you're in here and you're kicking it with me and the Big Dog. You're part of our family on a Wednesday night, man. We just love chopping it up with you guys, man. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
What else you got,
I was going to answer. No, that Pedro was asking me, what pueblo we were from, and I imagine he meant like Cuba. Pedro, I was actually born here, in New York, and then grew up in South Florida. Lived in South Florida my whole life. But my mother was from Santo Suárez, and my father's family was from Camagüey in Cuba. So Cuban both sides, going way back. And then Junior's mom is from Pinar del Rio. Very proud, Pinareña.
Very proud.
Yeah, so
if anybody makes any jokes in the comment section,
don't make no jokes about Pinareños.
You're gonna catch something. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where my family's from, going back generations there.
And I was born here, man.
He was born in Miami.
Jackson Memorial, baby. So, all right, guys. Hey, thank you so much once again, man.
He's from Matanza. That's where I would live if ever Cuba would be free, Pedro.
Yeah,
that's what I would live, man. I love the idea of living in Matanza. And oh my God, could you imagine going to that beach every single day?
Joel, no empiece, que te voy a sender in the chat. Hey, as always,
guys, it's all about this you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
That's funny. You grew up in Queens. I was born in Queens. That's where I was born, Elmhurst Hospital. Yeah, he grew up. He says he grew up in Queens, and he goes, he's from Matanza, but he grew up in Queens. I was born in Queens at Elmhurst Hospital.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Hey, we out.
All about the U. Love you guys.
All right, guys.
That was awesome.